Listen to Andrew Wiggins, who got denied a religious exemption, explain why he caved to the forced vaccination policy of San Francisco and the NBA.
Get vaccinated.
I'm sure like the only options was to get vaccinated or not play in the NBA.
Yeah.
That was a tough decision. Hopefully, it works out in the long run, and 10 years I'm so healthy.
Does it feel, after tonight, particularly after this interview, really the storyline is done, you're playing this season, does that feel good to just get behind you?
It feels good to play, but, getting vaccinated, that's going to be something that, stays in my mind for a long time.
Yeah.
That's something I wanted to do, but it's kind of forced to.
Will you have a sour taste in your mouth towards organization, towards the league, towards whatever?
Not towards the organization. They didn't make the rules. But I guess to do certain stuff, to work and all that, I guess you don't own your body. That's what it comes down to. You want to work in society today, then I guess they make the rules of what goes in your body and what you do. And hopefully there's a lot of people out there that are, stronger than me and keep fighting and, stand for what they believe, and hopefully it works out.
I like how he wishes people luck, and I think his story is very relatable. Millions of people are either having to quit, get fired, or being forced to take a medical product that they literally don't want just to feed their family or keep their career. Now, I hope Andrew and other NBA players realize it's San Francisco and New York City who's a big reason that you're being forced vaccinated against your will, to the players that are. Those cities are super liberal, controlled by Democrats, and that's the policy that they're now pushing. The same people who do Black Lives Matter. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like they're lying to you. But don't take it from me. Malcolm X warned people decades ago which side of politics was the most deceitful.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. And you take him for a friend.
There are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly. And therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that...
And I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro.
On the other hand, I think one could point to a large number of whites who have struggled for civil rights, for equality, and have got little or nothing out of it. Other than quite a few bruises.
Give me an example.
Well, the large number of white students who have gone into the South, for example, working for SNCC and other organizations.
Not working for SNCC or other organizations, but working for the white political machines who benefit by the voting efforts of Negroes.
Okay. Today, you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
The NBA, which is a super liberal, Democrat-skewed organization, is working with San Francisco and New York City, Democrat cities, liberal cities, to do this. If Andrew didn't play for Golden State or a New York team, he wouldn't be on the chopping block right now. Marcus Garvey once said, who they also don't teach much about like Malcolm X in schools, "We are going to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery because whilst others might free the body, none but ourselves can free the mind." That's why they get so mad at Nicki Minaj for asking questions to both sides. They're trying to trick you. All of these entertainers, all of these NBA players, they're wooed and lulled by things like Black Lives Matter. During the George Floyd riots, political organizations got hundreds of millions of dollars as those cities got worse. But thank God in New York, they're standing up against the authoritarian tyranny and mandates, which I welcome. That's a lot better than what happened last year. But these big corporations wave a rainbow flag once a year or a BLM, so you don't realize, like Malcolm X said, who it is that's truly oppressing you and taking away your freedom that your forefathers and my forefathers, in different ways, were able to spawn us in a country where we did have the right to speak freely and the right to opt out of a medical injection that we don't want. Thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. God bless you, Andrew Wiggins. I hope for your health, wealth, and prosperity. And God bless all the people that are holding their ground. Because if they could force you to get a mask, they could force you to get a vaccine. If they could force you to get a vaccine, they could force you to do whatever they want. And that's what they're doing. The dumbest conspiracy theory I ever heard was that you're going to comply to lockdowns, forced masking, and forced vaccination to get your normal back. 15 days to slow the spread is now lasting over 15 months. Do people get it yet? I just turned on the NBA to confirm that despite the vaccine being here, people on the bench and employees are still being masked. You're laying down the groundwork and setting the precedence of what you're allowing the corporate class and the government to do to human beings on this planet that they haven't done maybe ever, and definitely in a very long time. Be smart, be wise, be brave, and don't let the fear and negativity and stress get to you. God bless you. Have a good one. Thank you to everybody supporting me on patreon.com/raretalk. I answer all messages there. That's the perk. Thank you to everybody buying a black beanie or a white God Bless hat. We have shirts as well. God is Great shirts, but godblesshats.com. Get yourself a black beanie for the winter. And check out my music on Spotify and Apple Music. Anomaly, AN0MALY. New music coming soon.